Morning, hope you're going well. Up, it's about 7 o'clock. Just heading down just to set the water up. We just got this maize field day, cornfield day, maize, corn, depending. Someone asked me out the other day, is it maize or is it corn? Depending on what day of the week it is, we call it either or either. So yeah, just going down to move a couple of timers for that. It's supposed to be pretty hot today. They're talking in, high 30s if not 40s, but going to get pretty windy later in the day, and I think even thunderstorms this evening, so which isn't ideal. We just have to be on the lookout for dry lightning. So this thing we're going to, field day we're going to this morning, runs through till lunchtime, I think. So anyway. We'll see what happens at Savo. We mightn't. I'm just going to pick the guys up in town, so we mightn't do a hell of a lot this afternoon. We do have to get a bit organised for shearing, so there are sort of jobs we can do that'll probably be out of the sun. But we'll just see if it's stinking hot. We'll probably all have the afternoon off, or I'll give them the afternoon off, and I'll just poke around. So just a bit of a traffic jam here at the few sheep, so it's all right though. But yeah, it's all going to plan at the moment. So timers are all set up, so you won't have to change it till 9 o'clock tonight. So when we get back to Sabo, I'm just giving them a bit extra of the bays, just giving them sort of half an hour. We usually sort of work on 5.5 hours, but I'm just giving them 6, just to make sure. Just the probe's telling me it's sort of below where it, refill level, so I'm just giving them a bit extra more water, just a bit extra time, just to make sure that it's getting across the probe. But you can sort of see just here on the headlands that it's we are starting to dry down a bit. So yeah, look, hopefully this will be the last one. It doesn't matter if it's not, but we'll get Pete and Miranda to come back out or early next week just to have another look at it. But timers make the job a fair bit easier.
We've probably been growing corn something years, 22. We've got 370 hectares of corn in this year. We've got 300 hectares of spray. There might be 270 hectares of spray, sorry, 100 hectares of spray. We ripped all our nitrogen with we've got a Yeti whipper. And then we, so in between that 15-inch spacing with the planter, put the corn sitting on the bone, and we put 300 kilos of MAP and 100 kilos of sulphate of potash. Normally we use pop-up, about 35 litres of pop-up. We use up to a new planter, and we were wanting to set up a squeeze pump because we had a lot of trouble with pump filters and everything. Of course, we couldn't get the squeeze pump here and all of this, so it didn't go on there. So the corn didn't get any pop-up this year, which we were sowing at around the 14th of October, and it would have benefited from having that bit of pop-up this year with the tool. They got 500 hours on, so they're going a lot better than the first set of tracks. And 100 hours they've stopped them out the road, and we've come through the road works with the contract farm this year. One of the problems we've got is the tractor's running out of oil, so running a central commodity box with another fan, and we run an air seeder out the back, and this tractor has limited hydraulic. So the squeeze pump that we want to put on there, we were going to set it up as electric, hydraulic, but I think we'll put it on there as electric drive, so that we're not trying to take more hydraulics away from it. And you've got fertiliser discs on the front here, so we put in our MAP, sulphate of potash. Well, it's set up at 3 inches to the side this year, but we'll probably move that over to 2 inches next year. I reckon it's a little bit far away, and the plants took a little bit too long to hit that fertiliser before they started to get going in the October when it was cool. They got the reveal stubble whippers. They work pretty well as long as you set the wheel down and don't just let them dig. And then, of course, row unit, we had issues with depth on it. Basically, if we could get it so about 50 mil deep, but if we tried to get it so deeper, we had issues with the load pins not being detected, and then the delta force doesn't work if it's not detecting the load pins. The boss has got to do some re-engineering to get that worked out a bit better so we can get maximum depth out of the cleaner if we need to. And then at the back here it's got the paraports. From what I can see of them, well, we used to have a planter with Paul Ryan's coils on the side of it, so that created a lot of tilt. So we used to just deep rip and go in and plant, and the coils created a lot of tilt. And then we had his coils on the back, and we had the Farajet with the wing on it and so forth. And we always seem to be able to create enough tilt around the seed. But this year we found with these we need to create more tilt. It works well if you've got a strip till and you've created the tilt for it to work with, but if you're trying to make it do, create the tilt, it doesn't really, it just pushes the clods in around the seed and didn't quite achieve the result that I was after. I was at a field day the other day and a bloke had a 360 wave on his, which we tried a couple of years ago on the old harvest row units we had. That looks very interesting. We'll probably try and put some of them on this year, next year, or this year, sorry. But they're probably, they just roll a bit of moist dirt over the seed so you don't get any dry dirt around the seed, which is, sometimes you can see a little bit of dry dirt around the seed with this. So this here is critical. You don't sort of press too much on it. You only need to run about 30 psi pressure on it. Temptation is it's a little bit cloddier, it's a little bit dry, you turn it up a bit to 60, but it doesn't give a better result. I don't know, any questions on it?
Did you look at putting tracks on your air car? Oh yeah, about that. Because you use it.
Oh yeah, we've looked at it. They just had tracks laying over the road. They could go on the car. There's 600 wide tracks.
Yeah.
We just haven't. We probably kept the air seeder size down a bit to keep the compaction down. So years ago we had a 15,000 litre cart with 480 tyres on it, and we only filled up the front bin, which was a 7.5 tonne bin, but we still were getting too much compaction with those 480 tyres. So we went back to a smaller cart, which sort of seems to be works a bit better. I don't know, the trouble you have with tracks is when you're turning they sort of drag and burn a bit of dirt up, which doesn't matter under the lattice, but if you're on the flood, we've sort of mucked the flood up a bit this year, shoveled a bit of dirt out, and sort of struggling to get this in the depth where we wanted it, and then we've made humps and hollers, but we've planted in the hollers, and yeah, it doesn't water very well. We won't be doing that again. Any other questions?
Planning for a bit around this area, so I'll hand over to Craig to give an overview. We're going to talk about some varieties, have a bit of a chat about double cropping and what people's thoughts are, the pros and cons, and then we'll go and look at machinery. And after you've answered some questions for us, you can have some lunch. So I'll hand over to Craig.
Alright, well I've moved 3 times in my life and it's a total of less than 2 kilometres, so I basically grew up here. We've got about 400 hectares of maize in this year, and it's all on flood. We don't have any spray for one reason or another. We're not opposed to it, we just never really had that. Right, block, or we've got the right blocks but they're already well laid out, so we've never bothered to change them. Our irrigation's fully automated, 90% automated. So yeah, we grow summer and winter crops. We try and double crop as much as we can. So that's one of the things we're going to be talking about. Sort of why the cedar is the way it is. We predominantly double crop on open hay and canola. It's the main two. Oh, and occasionally favour beans. Yeah, so I don't know what else you want to know about. You know, as Ross said, I think, you know, flood irrigation yields are probably a couple of tonnes behind spray, but then you've got to have the right block to make a spray irrigation efficient enough and capital wise. Yeah, we've been growing maize for, well, we grew some in 1995, but so that was a great success. But pretty much most years since about 2001. So we've been growing maize for a long time. We invested in a grain dryer in 2012. We imported it from the US. I was just over there and ended up in the bloke's office and made me a good offer. And, so we imported that, put that up in 2012. Oh, we don't always dry all our corn, but we do about 50% our work and 50% work for other people. It's one of those things that just has to work out at the time. So we just do a contracting, you know, pass it through. Generally it's best if it's got a home before it comes here. That's how I like to work it. So yeah, the grain just comes and goes at the same time. It's started off just with augers and 2 silos as basic as I could make it, and then I've added another silo. And that grain loop, and it's about worn out now, so then last year I added a new truck unload and bucket elevator, which does some of the work of the loop. Just slowly adding things to it, which is one way to do things, or you can do what Ross does. I was done, and just, you know, a much better planned attack, but it's taken a lot. I've had 10 years worth of drying and stuff. It's really it's pretty important with double cropping to be able to dry grain. You always end up with some paddock stone in December, and those crops here always need drying. But I'd say since 2020, I don't think we've harvested anything that we haven't dried, unless it's stood over the winter, and then even some of the stuff we've stood over the winter we've dried. But generally, if you stand the crop over the winter, by the time the ground's dry enough to get on, the grain is dry enough to harvest. But the zeal, 200 litres of water at it's probably about the 20th of January. There was a few bites in there, they weren't too bad. It definitely has checked the back, but they've got going again. Probably the worst I've seen, but while they big, worst I've seen probably, I reckon, this year, the bites. I sort of, because of all the rain, we just couldn't get a time when the irrigation was right. There's 160 hectares, one outlet there, so it's 4 days to water, 3.5 days to water it. You've got to have the last paddock watered by the time the week after the rain goes. You've got to start 3 days before. And then I think 2 waterings in a row, we got to the last week of the rain again. So and you know, 60 or 80 mil. I think we've had about 200 mil here since Christmas, but most of that was in 3 rains, Christmas Eve, early January, mid-January. So I put all my nitrogen in. With the planter, I put 150 kilos of urea with the planter, and that goes just down and a bit inside the seed crop is too close. We used to do 300 kilos, we only do 150 now. And we put out 400 kilos of MAP, sulphate of potash mix, up a bit higher and stuff inside the seed. We'll have a look at that when we have a look at the planter. our urea. I've just got a silo and 2 tanks over there, and poly pipe goes all over the front arm to each outlet. And which wasn't too hard to set up. A lot of it just runs along the top of the ground or just under the ground. Yeah, so I think further is probably 2.5 k's away. The majority of it's just about 700 metres up the road. This sort of spot where it splits off and goes. We just run a bit bigger pipe up there and then just split off with each poly. Cheap, quick and easy run. So it's very simple. It does block up a little bit occasionally. I could improve the filtration system so it only screened out the bigger bits of crap that gets in your rear. Or the worst thing is not cleaning out an auger properly and get a bit of wet seed in there and it just floats at the right depth. A handful of seed will block up the filter 2 or 3 times. So that's probably the only drama with that. If you've got clean fertiliser and clean water, yeah, it works pretty good. I've got a special pump. It's a triplet pump that the motor's mounted up above. It controls the pressure, so you set the pressure that you want, like an open 6 outlets or 1 outlet, and then it'll just spin the same pressure. I do use header tanks at the ends. I probably could get away with just it's too much iron loss. Yeah, so we just still run header tanks at the end and just set it flow, and pretty much every watering from the first watering till about a bit after silking, try and put at least 50 kilos per watering, and if we get a bit behind with the rain, we'll put a bit more. And this year, rain sort of, we did an application ahead of some rain early December. We did 200 kilos of the spreader across the whole 400 hectares just to get ahead of the rain. And then I did all the later corn with another 200 kilos on that Christmas Eve rain, just 8 RX spreader. That worked really well. We're able to get about 700 kilos on. Someone came up with this U-View knock system. That's 0937.
What's the time of that?
15th, 14th of November. Yeah, started on the 14th of November. This was after open hay, this field out here. Took off about 11 tonnes of open hay off there and watered the field and then drilled this corn in on the 14th with the planter, just directing, no other work. We just get it, we sow on 25 centimetre rows and then 75 on the corn planter. So yeah, it'll be better next year because there's a couple of things we've done on the planter and we'll do on that planter that'll actually get our, that track side really straight. That'll be better than what we have been doing. So this is the pack replacement. This is going to have IT in it apparently in a year or two's time. 20, it doesn't come out on the screen, but 20 something. 202. They want to do their 343, but the people that bought the seed off won't allow them to do it. So this is their next 100-day corn that they're looking at putting the IT into. But it's not in it yet. But so we're just having a look at the variety. I just harvested. I just went to where there was 3 evenly spaced plants in the crop and chopped them off. The 3 just in a row. So they're 3 consecutive plants. So that's that one. I don't know, I should have wrote on probably had a sign on them, but anyway, I don't know, if you want to pass it around and look at it and look at it. He's waiting more. And this one is 9911. And I've pretty much added something to it every year since then. I've taken something off. And double cropping, turning your paddocks around, is really quite difficult. Like I work on a percent a day loss once you get past about the middle of November. It's pretty easy to get to the middle of December and there's 20, 30 days gone. That's the profit basically, so we pretty much pull the pin if we haven't got the same by the 10th of December these days. Although, you know, I've seen some pretty good yields, some of these hybrids later than that now, but so we'll mostly sow on open hays, my preferred double cropping method, because you've got a clean paddock. The open hay we'll spray the hays with Roundup, which gets a lot of root release and that's a good chance to clean up resistant ryegrass. And there's lots of benefits in that. And then we'll just go and pre-water the paddock, put out some fertiliser, whatever you need, you know, your own potash, bit of gypsum, and water the field, and then about 5 to 8 days later you'll come and sow it somewhere in there. And pretty efficient system. It's normally a very busy time of the year, so unless I can just put one good operator in there and chase a bit of seed and fertilise for them, and yeah, we can pretty much sow. Those we sow 4 hectares an hour. So.
How hard is it to find a good operator?
No, not too hard. So I've got 2 blokes that are pretty capable of working here for 10 years that can operate it. Well, don't ask me how much shit up there works, so I don't get up there very often anymore. So yeah, there's a lot going on. We've got, you know, we put out liquid. We generally only sow a bit of, you know, fritnol these days. We don't really use pop-up because the fertiliser is exactly close to the seeds. It's basically 50 ml to the side of where the seed ends up with the starter fertiliser, and the urea ends up a bit deeper than that. Probably not enough deeper, and we can cut back our urea rates that we put out with the machine. I'm not saying there isn't gains in pop-up. You can't mix it's very difficult to mix the fritnol with it. It's just one of those things. It's a bit more complicated. A lot of our cropping is happening in November instead of October. We don't very often get to sow in October here. We're double cropping. We do on fallow, but we try not to do fallow. So that's why I built this. We used to not have any of these row units in here that push the dirt back in, and we used to wipe across there. We ended up with a little divot, and we had a couple of wipeouts in a couple of years where we had crops that just got too wet on the first watering and only grew about this high and did about 8 tonne, and 2 fields that in. I was like, chuck it away, get something else, do something else, start again. Then I thought, I'll have a go at building these little row units. They're surprisingly simple and they work surprisingly well. They actually pinch the ground back together a lot of the time. The row units don't sort of want to follow where that was another problem once you had a bit of a furrow, the row units wanted to follow. So that was a massive improvement. And then we got a 2020 monitor and we found we had to go slower with that because, you know, to get it all green and everything, the way we used to say it was like I had to go slower. And then throw it away again, it's too small, we need more rows, and then we got speed tubes which allow us to go 10 or 11 kilometres an hour with this, so yeah, it certainly is up there. It was all we really needed. So those advantages that come just in time with this machine. Yeah. I really like the precision planting stuff. It just works. It's still got to do your maintenance and stuff, but it's really worked pretty well. You know, I like those field wheels for the first year we put them on because the ground's damp and we're disturbing the ground just ahead of the row unit. And it's not even an hour in between strip tilling and planting, so the ground's always as sticky as it's going to be as the planter's coming along. So they make a big difference. Yeah, it's a bits and pieces of different machines that I've just added to it. The colders are no good and the stubble planters are no good, but I don't know, it seems like too much effort to change them. So if I was going to change anything, that's what I'd be changing next. Maybe the times. I wouldn't say it's a perfect machine. I wouldn't say it grows even. We've had some pretty high yields. When we used to pull with a wheel tractor, we used to get We used to have an 85-30 on the front, just on singles, on 480-50s, and we used to see, when the crop was about this high, we'd see the rows each side of the wheel, so you get two short rows, 2 tall rows, 2 short rows, 2 tall rows. And someone asked me about the car down at Ross's. Once we got the tractor off onto we bought 2 tracks, just on 18-inch tracks. We didn't see that anymore. The cart doesn't seem to be too much of a problem. Don't buy it in the cart. So, slight stopping every 7 hectares or something in the stock. Put fertiliser in, 8 hectares. So, there's a lot of stopping with this machine. It's a bit small, but I don't know. We finished sowing on the 20th of November this year, which was pretty good. We only had 50 hectares double cropped on canola. So we had done 250 hectares on the canola before. That's something I do on my canola ground, because it's all flood. I generally spray it with Roundup and water the paddocks. So pre-water 2 weeks before harvest, and then harvest when it's dry enough to sow. Probably works about half the time. Half the other time you get 2 inches of rain sometime in there and delay sowing, or it's got a few risks, but anyway, I don't know. I'm just trying to cut out as much time between harvesting that crop and planting the next one. So it's another thing about double cropping that we've been trying to do. I don't know. Has anyone got any questions?
Base. Weather probably hasn't cut up as much as what I thought it was going to. It was sort of hot, but there is a bit of cloud. So there's a bit of cloud, bank of cloud coming. So I think just looking, the cool change is going to come through about midnight, I think. So it'll still be 36-7 degrees, but it's actually not too bad. So hopefully the audio was all right on. I'm not going to know until I edit it. So I actually just did that off my phone. There's about 60 people there, so it was really well attended. Took some really good stuff away from it. Just, a couple of the second 2 guys have been growing corn for a long time. So I think Craig was he said early 2000s, something like that. So, but he's been growing corn as long as I've sort of known of him. So. But yeah, 2 very different operations and how they manage things. Ross was, he'd tried sort of putting all his urea up front, and then Craig was sort of back at that 150 kilos. Craig's water running a lot of his urea, a bit like we do, we did this year. And then, just the disease point of view, well, not so much disease, but insects, like they're having trouble with mites down there. Just being very close, we're sort of towards Shepparton, so very close to the orchards. So they're finding a bit of resistance and that coming out. Well, I think that it's coming out of the orchards. But no, really good, and I just hope the audio's all right, and when I go to edit it. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. My nose is very red too, just looking at this camera. So I went out and picked the speed tiller up from my cousin today, or this afternoon when I got home. So it was about an 80k round trip in the tractor. So that was all right. I got it out and got it back and got it set up. I didn't get any footage of it, but I will. The boys are back here, so getting organised for shearing. So they've got some panel. I've got all the hay out. The hay needed to come out of the shed anyway, just so we can get some machinery in here. And then, after shearing, and then see they're out there. They got it out. So I'm going to bring walk these ewes home in the mornings. Hopefully it's cool enough. Corn's still going. I've made a blue. The water was due to shut off this morning, and I meant to extend it last night and forgot. So we're a bit short of water. So I'm just started the pump. I'm just pumping a bay now, and I think we've got, what will we have? I think we'll have 2 or 3 left to do tomorrow, so that's all right. These things happen. What else? Not much else for this one. Hopefully, yeah, ran into another guy today and his two sons that have been watching the channel, which is nice. So had a yarn to them. So yeah. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Yeah, I hope you got something out of it, because I certainly did today. Yeah. All right, we'll catch you on the next one. Ta-da.